Nick, what's going on, man? Yo, you've been checking out some of that Transcending Obscurity Records stuff, or what? Wait, it doesn't look like you're grooving a death metal. Are you listening to that doom metal shit, man? Look, I know you're the reviewer with all the opinions, but honestly, I don't think doom metal's that impressive, man. I mean, you think about it, you got no blast beats, you got no gutturals usually. I mean, it's really not that interesting. What are you trying to do, curse me with your Polish magic?
Nigdy nie zobaczysz światła dnia i Pan Bóg cię opuścił.
Does it? Please, come on, man, we can work this out.
He stands tall over his domain.
Welcome back, my friends. I hope you are doing well today. I hope you're comfortable, maybe you got a snack going, or maybe you're literally watching this while you're naked. And that's okay, I accept everybody to this channel. But yes, as promised, I am continuing my exploration of one of the most devastating labels ever in India, Transcending Obscurity Records. I went over some death metal that they had released in 2020, but this label also has a deep-rooted passion for doom metal, and I would be just a fool not to recognize that. So I guess we can just go with a release that's as short as we can get pretty much with doom metal, an EP called Desert of Ghouls by Eremit. Now, Aramid is pretty young. They formed in 2015 and dropped their debut Carrier of Weight on Transcending Obscurity back in 2018. Desert of Ghouls was actually a very long-awaited follow-up due to the great reception that that album got. Personally, I felt like it was a really beautiful, dense recording, but it just left me wanting more. So is Desert of Ghouls good? No. It's fucking great. Although only containing 2 songs, Desert of Ghouls is a monolith of an experience that just makes me feel like I'm boiling under the sun. I think weight is actually the correct term used for this band because they combine sludge, doom, and stoner metal with a death metal flair to forebodingly squish you under their sound. The first song, Beheading the Innumerous, drags and drags until a change in speed towards the end, which is very, very satisfying if you're willing to wait 6 minutes for it. Then the second song, City of I'm not even going to pronounce that properly, is 12 minutes long, and it does build this incredible atmosphere. It starts off soft with like these wind chimes, it maybe sounds like. Then the doom riff kicks in towards the 8-minute mark. There's a fill that then turns the band into the absolute groove machine. Not to mention, Eremit does have their own lore. The music explores the journey of a mystical hermit traveling through mythical, treacherous lands. I wish I could go a little bit more in depth than that, but I guess I'll leave that up to you. They're actually dropping a new album this year called Bearer of Many Names, and it looks super promising, so I can't wait for that. Next up is a very highly requested band, and rightfully so, because these guys introduced me to a sound in doom metal that I would never thought I'd even hear. Of course, I'm talking about Jupiterian. even start? This has to be one of the filthiest tones I've heard. Now, Transcending Obscurity Records has been releasing Jupiterian's music since about 2017, starting off with an album known as Terraforming, but you can still peep their previous album and 2 EPs if you want to truly understand how this band progressed into the album of today's video, Proto-Sapien. Now, I can say with confidence that Jupiterian has a robust, dirty but abrasive sounds that takes the harshest tropes that death, doom, and sludge metal have to offer. The way all of these sounds are layered together creates a really claustrophobic listening experience. Mere Humans, for example, has an infectious riff that I could just listen to all damn day. The way the melodies are layered together, the different vocal variations coming at you at once, either in a singular sort of way or in a choir, it is all around you, ready to attack. And then you have songs like Capricorn, which is a dense song that sounds like chaos emanating from the Grand Canyon. It has kind of a warm feeling too, like a desert rock song might, but the disgusting filth on this production makes this song quite terrifying. See influences in Jupiterian from stoner metal bands like maybe Bongzilla. The death metal sounds here are caveman-like, and the doom metal, classic yet riveting. The pacing on here is slow but hits just right because of the themes being so viscerally realistic. The music gets quite scary at times. It's almost like a doomy Portal without the technicality. All in all, I can say this is a fantastic album and you're really missing out if you haven't checked this out yet. I binged this band harder than Breaking Bad. Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking that Transcending Obscurity Records mainly deals with like new bands, and of course that's great too because new bands are able to get their voices out there rather quickly, but the next 2 releases I want to take a look at are from what I would consider classic gems. The first of these is a doom metal 4-piece from Chile that has not let up their sound since 1997, and this is Poema Arcanvs. Now, Poema Arcanvs is actually a little bit older than that. Their first iteration ever was known as Garbage. Like, I don't even know what to say about that. Then after changing their name to Garbage Breed between 96 and 97, finally, the band after took a serious approach into exploring the human mind, esoteric symbolism, and dark poetry as Poema Arcanvs. They have multiple classics from over the years that you can check out, like Iconoclast or Timeline Symmetry, but when I saw that they got signed to the TOR, it made me think that it is a good spot for them. So their 2020 release, Stardust Solitude, is easily one of the coolest things I have heard. Let's start off with the production. Huge and echoey, like a cathedral. I could feel the drums going through my ears and into my soul as this gigantuous riffs and thick bass lines crashed over me over and over. Then you have a track like The Lighthouse Keeper, which to me, when I heard it anyway, did remind me a bit of Opeth, the way they mix these heavy progressive riffs and drumming together, and then you have the melancholic interlude before the song picks up again. There's a lot of sad, depressing emotion on this one.
The lighthouse keeps them far away, but the presence I still feel of insomnia.
Stardust Solitude presents itself as this powerful megalodon, but it hits the most vulnerable emotions that a human might have. It's a self-expression of man's deepest fears and our endless search for an end goal to life, so to speak, which I'm sure if you asked the band, they would give you like an Edgar Allan Poe quote or something. But Poema Arcanvs is a great example of an old school band still bringing forward creative ideas, and that I just have to truly respect them for. And lastly, as promised, I have a black metal release unlike any other, and this album is called Acts of Repentance by Wardaemonic. So like, how do I express my opinion about a band that's beyond words? This is an outfit out of Australia that has been putting out music since 2006, their first album being Through the Dank Pale Gravelands on Aussie Bastard. That's the label. What is it with these labels? Like, I know you can name your label anything you want, but Aussie Bastard, that's so on the nose. I actually discovered these guys pretty early in my metal journey because I was getting into the Australian scene back in the day, which, if you don't know, is slowly taking over the whole world. So I found this band called Death Fucking Cunt, which is just an incredible name. And it turns out that their bassist and their drummer, Brad Travasks and Dan Gringer, also play in Wardaemonic, and that is what led me to their third album, Obsequium. So when I heard that Transcending Obscurity Records signed these guys, I was immediately overtaken by excitement and nostalgia. And this album that they crafted here for the label, Acts of Repentance, is, I mean, it's just perfect. Now, each song on here takes its own approach to black metal. This band does not like to stick to one singular style, but trust me, all of the music will deliver an equal punch to your heart. Let me try to explain this. Act 1, Introspection, is this avant-garde-like song that takes you on an absolute roller coaster filled with all this violent riffing and gut-wrenching howls. It is relentless. Then you have the second song, Act 2, Admission, which also features the already shrieking black metal highs we've been hearing, but then the song takes a complete 180 into, I don't know, I guess brutal death metal? The song even features some DSBM tropes. There's a segment that reminds me of a little bit of Exast there. The drumming on here is also really technical and diverse, so I just have to touch on it. Now, I'm not a musician, but I think any drummer would appreciate this album simply for how this man plays his kit. He's got a lot of variations and different ways of playing typical drum patterns that you might hear in music like this. Normally, this kind of experimentation does come off a bit pretentious if it's not done right, but I'm literally able to extract something new out of the composition every time I listen to it, which is very hard to achieve. Paired with all the creepy ambient samples and a theme that focuses on the introspection of one's mind and the destruction of their ego, I think Wardaemonic have created an album that perfectly captures one of the worst faults of the human condition, and that is placing ourselves above all else. I mean, if that's not misanthropic philosophy, I don't really know what counts. They transcend any kind of trope or expectation you might have when you hear the term black metal, and I think they're going to be influencing the genre for years to come, even with this album alone. So yeah, this one's a 10 out of 10, no doubt. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you're feeling the doominess in your heart like I am, because I enjoyed the hell out of all this music. In the next part, I'm still going to be going over the rest of the Transcending Obscurity 2020 releases, because believe it or not, there are more that I haven't even talked about yet. As per usual, all the links to the label and the bands in question can be found down below, along with my own social media. So support bands and stay fans. Eternal Hills.